They said, I bet you can't make a good onion gravy without beef stock and beef dripping. I said, challenge accepted. This is my luxury onion gravy, and it's vegetarian and vegan friendly. And wait till you see what I'm serving it with. Hey everyone, how's it going? Good to see you. Welcome back to my channel, Chef Archie's Easy Recipes. And thanks for joining me for today's video presentation. Very tasty it is too. And thank you to all of you, almost 70,000 of you, for watching my last onion gravy video. Almost a record. But quite a few of you have got in touch, vegans and vegetarians, and have said to me, excuse me, where's our onion gravy? We don't like beef stock. We're not meat eaters. We want an onion gravy too. So I'm going to make you guys, vegans and vegetarians, and we'll discuss the difference shortly, a wonderful onion gravy. It's going to contain some herbs from my garden, some sage, rosemary, parsley and thyme. I've got a little drop of Pinot Grigio, quite naughty but very tasty. Some fabulous Norm, my favourite brand stock, vegetable stock, also suitable for vegans. There's a little bit of tomato paste there. There's some celery, only a tiny bit, some garlic, some Worcestershire sauce from an amazing friend that I have in Washington. I'll mention that shortly. Some extra virgin olive oil, 3 different types of onions, and I'm also using nutritional yeast for the first time ever. I simply adore it. It's a fabulous product. There's also a little bit of garlic, and don't forget the always present salt and pepper. Right then, this gravy is perfect for everything. The only thing it doesn't have in is beef stock. Apart from that, it's wonderful. Vegans, leave out the butter. Vegetarians, please add the butter. Right then, enough said. Let's get cracking, shall we? About 3 or 4 tablespoons of my favourite extra virgin Greek olive oil, a chunk of butter. Vegans, please omit the butter. In with my parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme from my garden, I'm very proud, 2 cloves of minced garlic and a small quantity of finely chopped celery. Then we've got some scallions or some spring onions going in, finely chopped. And then I've got some fabulous pink shallots and some regular white onions, all nicely sliced, thinly sliced, please. Now we're going to spend 15 minutes over a medium heat sauteing the contents of the pan. I just wanted a little bit of extra virgin olive oil going in. Right, it's going to take about 15 minutes for us to reach the brown stage, not the caramelization stage. If we caramelize them, then there'll be no onions left in the end product. We're just going to brown them. Right, that's the level you want to get to. Some of the herbs are going to slightly go a little bit too brown, but that's okay, as long as we extract all the flavour. That's the stage we want to get to. We don't want to get any browner than that. Let's throw in our glass of Pinot Grigio. I hope the glass is still full. I know some people will have a sip of it, which is perfectly fine, of course. Now, for 5 minutes on a high flame, we're going to reduce the wine until the surplus has disappeared. The wine will still be contained in the onion, but the actual surplus wine will have gone. And if you move your wooden spoon, like I am, you will see at the bottom, it's literally gone quite dry, it's evaporated. The wine's disappeared, but there is still an amount of wine in the onions. This Worcestershire sauce is aged in oak from my good friend Matt in Washington, and it is, in my opinion, better than Liam Perrins's. Thank you, Matt. Lots of love to you and the missus. There is some tomato paste as well. My first experience of nutritional yeast. We'll talk more about that shortly. And now I want to mix everything in, completely. Everything gets mixed in until you can't see any of those ingredients. Tomato paste, Worcestershire sauce, nutritional yeast. Mix it all in. Now I'm throwing in some flour, probably 3 tablespoons in total, and over a low to medium heat, stir it round until the pan is almost clean. Can you see what I mean? The way it all clings to each other. And then eventually you'll get a big blob. Look at that. When you see the blob, then it's ready to add some liquid. And I'm going to add my vegetable stock in 3 batches. In between each batch, stir vigorously over a medium heat. Wait for the stock or the liquid to incorporate itself into the paste. Once it has and it's come to the boil, add another batch of stock. Once again, stir. This is exactly the same method like you're making a bechamel or a roux based sauce, by the way. So we're using the roux method to make our gravy. Once it's all stirred in and you can see a few bubbles forming, we can add the next batch of stock. And we're on a low to medium heat at this stage, by the way. Right, there we are. That's the last of the stock going in. We're going to stir it now until it comes to the boil. And shortly we will see it bubbling away. Here we are, absolutely fabulous. Little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Stir that in, and I'm going to leave it for about 3 to 5 minutes just to simmer slowly, and that's it. It is ready. That's how easy it is. It's ridiculously easy. And what I love about this, I better have a taste first. I love the fact that one taste wasn't enough. Right, I've had a taste and I'm really pleased, by the way. Great result. Lots of different flavors going on. What I love about this sauce is that it's an all-purpose onion gravy. It suits everything. And because we haven't overcooked the onions, we got plenty still in there. I made some wonderful bubble and squeak, and I'm just going to drizzle my onion gravy over my bubble and squeak, carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, potatoes. Absolutely sensational. All those lovely fresh herbs from the garden working alongside the wine, the fabulous vegetable stock, the nutritional yeast, 3 varieties of onions, a little bit of garlic in there as well. It's my onion gravy for vegetarians and vegans, everyone. So what's nutritional yeast? Well, in vegetarian and vegan cuisine, it's absolutely huge. It can be a condiment, or you can use it as a recipe ingredient. It's a specific strain of yeast. That's exactly what it is. It's grown on a mixture of cane and beet molasses, so it's a natural product. When it's fully grown, it's harvested, washed, and heated in order to deactivate it or kill it. Because it's deactivated, it won't cause dough to rise like baker's yeast, and it won't cause sugars to ferment like alcohol, like brewer's yeast, for example. So basically, it's a simple natural ingredient that's been treated in a very safe way in order to enhance vegetarian and vegan cuisine. It's also a positive additive to your diet in terms of nutrition. It's naturally rich in fiber. It's got all 9 essential amino acids, which makes it a complete protein. And most commercial nutritional yeast has been strengthened with extra vitamins like B vitamins, B1, 2, 3, 6, and folic acid. And then there's B12. The trouble is, B12, you can't get it from plant-based foods. So most commercially sold nutritional yeast contains lots of B12. It makes perfect sense. The minerals in it, zinc, selenium, and iron, it's full of goodness. It really is excellent. My vegan pals told me it's got a wonderful cheesy umami flavour, and it's non-dairy and non-genetically modified too. Sprinkle it on your popcorn, they tell me, instead of butter. Pop it on your pasta instead of parmesan, they say. It's absolutely sensational. I also understand if you blend it with nuts, potatoes, or non-dairy milk, you can create a rich dairy-free cheese sauce. Also, stir it into broths to add depth and thickness. So it's just a brilliant additive for all vegan and vegetarian cuisine. Hopefully that's cleared up everything about nutritional yeast. So maybe if you don't eat meat, you want to give it a try. I understand from my pals, it's absolutely amazing. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It would be amazing. Smash that like button. It's huge for us. Share with your friends. We're always looking to expand the joy and the love of food with everybody. And don't forget the comment section. I need to know exactly what you think of this. Are you a vegan? Are you a meat eater that eats vegan food and vegetarian food? I would love to hear your thoughts. I'm going to get stuck in. I'm having a whole bucket of this over a huge trough of mashed potato. I'll see you guys soon.